1,000 blocks away from this fight is my new Tiger Aura's Multi-Launcher 2.0 hidden behind the wall, but my opponent doesn't know that. Before we skip to the end of the fight, let me show what I mean by Multi-Launcher and all that. I had asked my friend to join my server so I could show him the video I was creating, but first I wanted us to duel, so here I am now, waiting to launch the arrows from another account. And when I get some distance, I whip bubble so I can safely alt tab and fire the arrows.
What? What?
Yes.
What? Huh?
Yes.